moving on to my favorite show, 2016. Let's go take a look. So, 2016. Can you find me? Oh, there's a little bit of glare from outside. There I am. And I'm wearing the fantasy bra. So here we have all of the gorgeous girls. Martha, Romy, Sarah, Stella, Elsa, Joe, Adriana, Lais, Taylor, Lily, Alessandra. Gang's all here. This show was in Paris. All right, let's talk about the 2016 Victoria's Secret fashion show. This show was magical. I will never forget it. I was chosen to wear the fantasy bra, which was like another dream come true. I still honestly can't believe that I got to wear the fantasy bra. I think there's like, I don't know, 18 or less or something girls that have ever gotten to wear it over the years of the shows. So that is so cool to me, and it makes me happy every time I think about that show. So I was on set with Romy, Taylor, and Josephine, and we were shooting, I think it was just like a spring campaign on a rooftop in New York City. Ed pulled me aside and was like, oh, Jas, like, we're gonna have you do this interview. Like, do you mind coming upstairs where the cameras are? So I was like, okay, I'll go upstairs. And they also called everyone else upstairs because they're like, oh, you know, like, girls, you're gonna get in the, you know, video after with Jasmine, so just be on standby. So the girls are like sitting to my left. I keep asking everyone. And on the Victoria's Secret sets, there's typically a lot of people around, so I didn't notice anything different, but there were a few extra people there, like from the PR team, that I didn't realize were there. So I'm standing there, and the cameras are on me, and the stylist Elizabeth is like fixing me up my clothes, and I'm like, guys, like, what are we talking about? Like, just so I hadn't, normally when we do interviews with the Victoria's Secret, or we have to talk about things for commercials, they kind of brief us a little bit about like, okay, this is what you guys are gonna be talking about, you know, choose your own way to talk about it, but this is what you're talking about. I didn't know what we were talking about, so I went in and I said, what are we talking about? No one would answer. And I'm like, does anyone know what we're talking about? No one would answer. And then someone says, bralettes. And I was like, okay, we're talking about bralettes. Then the camera turns on, and I guess I can just roll the clip here. It makes it super sexy and chic, which I think is cool. You just throw over a blouse and you're ready to go.
You guys all know that we're doing the show in Paris this year, right? And it's a secret. Nobody can know that the show's in Paris this year. One of the things that we do every year, is we pick somebody to have the fantasy bra. You probably know about that.
Of course I know about it.
This year, I'm wondering if you'd consider being our fantasy bra model.
Oh my God! That was the cutest thing ever. Oh my God! Oh. Love you again!
Is that a yes?
Oh my God! Oh,
yay! Okay, now you can come back and hug her again.
Yay! Congratulations! Yay!
She's like the best body ever. Best choice you could have ever made.
That was so sneaky! I like Jasmine, we had to pretend we didn't know. Congrats!
Yeah. But you guys can't tell anybody. Nobody knows. No posting. Nothing.
Nobody here can tell.
Yeah, nobody's supposed to know.
It's
So
a secret.
top secret.
We gotta keep it a secret for a while.
Oh my God. She's dying.
I'm dying. So yeah, that was a huge shock. It was the middle of the day. I had no idea, like not even a clue. I didn't even know they chose the person to wear the fantasy bra that early away from the show. Like, I think that was in May that I found out, and the show's in November. But it's because the way they make the fantasy bra is very interesting, and it takes a while. So after I found out, super excited, we celebrated, had so much fun. I got the call that I needed to go and get molded for the bra. I was covered in this purple gooey stuff, and I had to sit there for like an hour maybe longer, until it dried, and they wrapped me in this stuff like a mummy, and that way they get an entire perfect form of my body to build the bra on. So once that was done, I then waited a couple weeks and they called me back. They're like, we have the molding. I was like, oh my God. So they had the first kind of casting of the bra and outline. There were no diamonds on it yet. It was just like the framing. So I went for a fitting for that. And I had to keep all of this secret because the public didn't know yet and couldn't know until Victoria's Secret was announcing it. So it was so hard. And even to the girls that weren't on set with me, I kind of had to keep it quiet. I was like, do you know who's wearing the bra? And I was like, no. So that was super hard to keep it quiet because it was so exciting. And I didn't think it was gonna be me, but I don't know what happened. I'm still, I can't believe it was me. Anyways, back to the show. This show was super different for me than all of the other shows because of the fantasy bra. There comes a lot of press around the bra. So leading up to the show, for I think maybe even a month before the show, I was doing tons of interviews and going on different news channels and things like that to talk about the bra, give press for the show. So that was a lot of work, but it was also so much fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. This year, the show is at the Grand Palais in Paris, and it is so gorgeous and so beautiful. Paris is the city of love, fashion, glamour, everything. So this show was amazing. When we walked into the venue, we were just amazed by the beauty. The ceilings are so high, and all of our other venues were nowhere near as big as that place. It was awesome. Totally forgot about the airplane again. The Paris fashion show was another opportunity where all of the girls and I got to fly on the airplane again all together. We had so much fun. This time I sat next to Josephine. I think around this time is when Josephine and I started to become really close. So we got to take so many fun photos together, and we just had the absolute best time on the plane. We get into the main part of the building and it was just so gorgeous. My jaw dropped. It was honestly, I think, one of the most beautiful locations that the Victoria's Secret Fashion Show has ever been at. This show was also really special to me because my grandmother flew out to Paris to see it. My mom was also there. My mom has been to every single show that I've done, but my grandma hasn't seen all of them. I think my grandma has maybe seen 3. My grandpa has seen 1 of them. And then this was actually the first show where my boyfriend Juan got to see me walk. So that was really special, and I got to walk down the runway and look at him in the audience and wave, and it was super exciting. And my grandma was there, and my mom and my sister, and everyone was sitting there together. So that was a really special moment. I remember having so many chills over my body, waiting to step on the runway wearing the bra. I was like, oh my God, don't fall, don't mess up. All eyes are on you. You're wearing this $3 million bra. Bruno Mars was performing. It was the most amazing song to walk to and dance to, and it just really lifted my spirits while I was walking, and I just really felt the music, and I felt amazing in my bra. The whole finished product of it was just gorgeous. My second outfit in the show was super gorgeous. It was this pink jacket kind of with these beautiful feathery wings behind me. I loved both of my outfits in that show, and it was so amazing. Then we went on to the after party, which was so fun. And I haven't talked about the after parties in the previous shows because I totally forgot about them. But the after parties are so much fun because basically after the show, all of the girls have their after party outfits with them. And we get off the runway, we go backstage, we change our hair and makeup to however we want it to be. So you bring your dress backstage with your shoes and your jewelry and all of that to get ready for the pink carpet. And the pink carpet is iconic, and every year it's just so fun to see what everyone is wearing. Paris was so much fun. Hands down one of my favorite shows. Again, I feel so honored that I got to wear a fantasy bra and get to go to Paris to do this show. Now we're moving on to 2017. Can you find me? I'm right there. So 2017 was in Shanghai. In this show, the performers were Harry Styles, Leslie Odom Jr., Miguel, and we also had Jane Zhang. 2017, what a fun show. We traveled so far for the show. It was the furthest Victoria's Secret had ever traveled for a Victoria's Secret fashion show. We didn't fly on the Victoria's Secret plane this time because a lot of the girls were going at different times. Some of us angels had to do a lot of press around the show, so we had to go a little bit earlier. And one thing I must say that was really, really difficult with this show is that the time zone and the time change with like being in Shanghai was so difficult. And I think that honestly, I didn't get like any sleep, but you're running on this adrenaline and excitement and you just go through with it. When we walked into the venue for rehearsal this year, I walked in and there was this giant photo of me wearing the fantasy bra and I was so excited. I wasn't expecting to see it. It was giant. I wish I could have taken it home. This year I had two gorgeous outfits. One was super colorful with this beautiful red, flowy, drapey kind of wing cape thing. I remember in my fitting I was wearing this and I was like, I did a slow motion video, which I'll play. And I just loved the way this one moved. I loved the colors on my body, of the beading. It was just so gorgeous. My second outfit was this super cool rocker style outfit. I had these wings that were made out of safety pins. Can you believe that? Safety pins. I'm like, over the years, I don't know how the designers come up with more and more things. Like it's just, it's baffling to me, but I loved this outfit. I think this maybe was one of my favorite shows. Like I feel I looked my best in this show and actually the last show. And I think that just comes with like growing up and also like maturing in the fashion world and knowing like what makeup you like on your face and you know, the way you like your hair. So over the years, you kind of see my look transform into, you know, the way that I personally like my style to be. This show was a little bit different because the runway was shaped like a V. So girls were coming out of one side and then crossing down the other and also coming out of the other side. And sometimes girls were also walking both at the same time. So that was really cool. And I was a little nervous to step on the runway with my safety pin wings because the way they were positioned on my back, it would sometimes lob to one side. So I really had to keep my shoulders straight and make sure that I wasn't leaning one way. So yeah, the way I walked on this runway is I walked at an angle and then stopped like this, which was very different for me because usually we're used to turning around, but with this one you walked and then you kind of just like turn the other way, and I think it was cool. And I always think it's fun to kind of like change things up and play with different styles. Also, another key thing about this show and every other Victoria's Secret show is that there's fans at the end of the runway, so that gives you that gorgeous Beyonce hair. And I do have one photo where my hair is blowing in my face and I'm grabbing it with one hand. And I'm like, oh my God, how did I do that with like a straight face and actually get a good photo out of it? Normally when hair is in my face, I'm like, so props to me on my hand modeling with the hair and the wind. Wind always makes everything look more glamorous. So that's how Victoria's Secret gets those beautiful shots at the end of the runway and those slow motion moves. It's that fan. I totally almost forgot, but Josephine and I also had to learn Kung Fu. So a few months before the show, we were taking lessons and learning everything that we needed to know. And then when we got to Shanghai, we actually got to practice with a Kung Fu master. And during the show, they aired a segment where it showed us actually doing what we learned. All right, let's move on to the last show that I have here on my wall. The Victoria's Secret Fashion Show 2018. Look at all of those girls. I think like the amount of models in the show gets bigger and bigger. 13, 14, 15, 16, there's a glare, sorry. 17, and 18. Wow, there's a lot of girls. I did not even realize that. So for this show, we're back in New York City, and we had tons of performers. I was just going to name them all, and I was like, oh my God, I need to read who they were, because there were so many. We had Shawn Mendes, Rita Ora, the Chainsmokers, BB Rexa, Halsey, Leela James, Kelsey Ballerini, and the Struts. Wow, I think that was the most performance that we've ever had at a Victoria's Secret show. This was awesome. I love when, you know, I think like looking back, we've had so many cool performers over the years, but this year was the year where it was like the first DJ. And I remember always going to Ed and being like, let's get a DJ in the show. A DJ would be so fun, because I love like dance music and all that stuff. So I was really excited that we were having the Chainsmokers this year. Also, Shawn Mendes came out with, you know, his popular song that everyone loved. So I actually got to walk to that segment, and I opened the segment. My first time opening a segment was so exciting. I was wearing this really gorgeous and colorful outfit that was covered in florals. I actually this year also had really long extensions. I remember telling my hairstylist, Marty, let's put in like the longest extensions. Let's go like full Naomi Campbell, Tyra Banks vibes. Give it to me. So he gave me like super long jet black hair, and we actually did it the night before because I was just like, I want to be a mermaid. So he gave me the long gorgeous extensions, and this year it was so fun backstage. There were so many of our friends back there. By this time I'm starting to feel pretty comfortable being backstage, not too many nerves. You feel a bit more confident. There were also tons of new girls in this show, so it was so nice to talk with them, and you know, they would ask us for advice, so I would help them out about like, you know, camera angles and all that stuff. Also, forgot to talk about the camera angles at the VS fashion show. There's a camera over here, a camera over here, 3 cameras at the end, 2 cameras on the ground, like 1 camera there, another camera, someone's in front of you walking with you. Another camera, someone's behind you or walking with you. There's cameras everywhere. There's also cameras tracking the floor. So they're like running against the runway super fast. And those are the cameras that you see, like those iconic Adriana Lima shots where she's walking and she's pointing down at the camera. Those are the cameras that are tracking the floor. So you gotta be ready at all angles. You also have to keep in mind to play to the different cameras. And you know, probably by 2016, 17, I was starting to feel confident enough to not only look straight, but to also like look at the cameras and like maybe wink at one, or you know, do your own little fun thing that shows your personality and just sets you apart from what everyone else is doing. So it's fun to like create your own mood and vibe on the runway and just have fun with it. This show, I had 2 pairs of wings. They were both beautiful, kind of like flower designs on both. I remember walking out on the runway in my first look when I was opening the segment, and it was Shawn Mendes singing, and he was halfway down the runway, and I was walking, I was like, if I look at him, he better look back at me, because that would be really awkward. So walked on the runway, I like looked at him and I pointed, and he looked back and he smiled. So I'm like, yes, gold, we did it. It's a perfect shot for the show. And then my second outfit, I had this beautiful jacket that had like this beautiful design on it. I don't even know what it was. And then I had these gorgeous flower wings with some kind of like soft pink lingerie and some really cool boots. This show was one of my favorites. I loved being with my friends. The after party was so much fun. I mean, honestly, all of these years are so amazing, and they just bring me so many memories, and I could walk the Victoria's Secret fashion show over and over and over and over and over again, and I want to do it again. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Honestly, every time I come in my gym to work out, I look back on this wall and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. let's do it again. Sign me up any day. So much fun. And I'm so grateful to have walked in these shows. And I thank you guys for watching my YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what else you want to see. Bye guys.